Today I'm going to have a quick look at this TX2002 metal detector dual use pinpointer. This is a really cheap, and you'd expect a nasty device that I got off eBay for like 20 bucks. It was really cheap, but it's actually turned out to be pretty decent, like considering the price at least anyway. So let's have a quick look. The controls on, I didn't have any packaging that came in, it was in a plain cardboard box. The basic controls, there's a sound on and off switch on the side there. So all that does is gives you a sound with your signal, or if you turn it off, just the change in colour on the light there. So I'll leave that on for the video because it's easier. It has a button here which you must hold down for it to be in detect mode. That also activates the green LED and the little spotlight LED. It also has a sensitivity dial on the end, which is really nice. A lot of the more high-end expensive detectors still don't have this feature. I don't know why. It's putting me off buying the more expensive ones, not having a good sensitivity adjustment. And how I set that in is I put it into detect mode and turn the sensitivity up until it detects something, and then just back down again until it stops. So that's now tuned in for the background noise of the electrical interference in this room. So let's have a look at a couple of different targets. Stuff that you might want to pinpoint regularly. This one's an English penny, which I found at the beach. I do beach metal detecting in the sand. So I'm going to hold that on the line. And we're going to move the detector in. I have 5mm increments marked on my bit of paper here. So I'm starting to get a signal from 10mm, and it stays on solid at 5mm for the English penny. Now let's have a look at some Australian coins. 5-cent pieces, about the same size as the penny. Quite a bit thinner, and Australian silver coins are 75% copper and 25% aluminium, 25% nickel. So let's check out the 5-cent piece. Some noise just inside 10mm, strong signal from 5mm. Not quite as good out further away at 10mm as the penny was. 10-cent piece. Same sort of deal from 10mm inwards. 20-cent piece. Bit further out on this one. 12mm or so. The big 50. So moving around from 15mm down to a good signal past 10mm. It also detects these sinkers pretty good, unlike the last detector I tried. Not at great range, but at least it gets it on end contact. And same for the smaller one. So if you've got a handful of stuff in your hand and you're having trouble finding that pesky little sinker or a musket ball or whatever that's getting away from you, pull tabs, sort of stuff that keeps going through sieves and scoops. This thing works pretty good for finding that sort of stuff. It goes down pretty fine. It's, same sort of deal on this fake gold ring, which is actually copper with the gold coating. 10, 15, sometimes 20mm. About the same range around the edges as you'd expect for something that's a dual use pinpointer. It means it's, got feel around the edges and off the end. Well, that's how I interpret that anyway. And got tougher test here. A 14 karat gold charm bracelet. So we'll start out seeing if we can detect the chain. With a fast enough movement, that's detectable the faster you go. And no worries at all on the clasp. Gets that from quite a distance away, 5 or 10 millimeters. I've even got an array of small targets, junk targets that I find regularly in the, below the low tide mark, things like fish hooks and tiny pieces of sparkler wire. I have a White's dual field and it'll find these little tiny bits of wire 6, 8, 10 inches deep. So, and they're really annoying because they can go through sieves and stuff. This one here, it's a tiny chunk of aluminium. That had me looking for that for ages because it looks kind of like a shell, a piece of broken shell. And it was in amongst some shelly sand with lots of bits of shell about that size. It was very frustrating. It fell through my scoop 7 or 8 times. I kept digging it up, kept detecting the ground. It's gone. It's in the scoop. I'd shake my scoop out and it's back on the ground again. And that's where a pinpointer comes in pretty handy. So let's check these targets out. Bit of a signal off that small fish hook. Mainly with movement. It's not a good signal. The really rusty bobby pin. Oops. This one's really rusty. Pretty hard to pick that up. The not so rusty bobby pin. This one's just a bit rusty. Yeah, and they do alright on the sides, the old bobby pins, if you get it the right way around. You'd probably be able to help you find that. No, probably not going to do so well on this tiny little target. Be nice if it did, but nah. Barely getting anything there. This little tiny thin washer, this is really thin. That's like thinner than a piece of paper. Really, really thin. Doesn't have much of a signal. I don't know if it's brass or copper. So no worries finding that. Here's a larger, less rusty fish hook than the last one. I reckon if that was in a handful of sand, or even a small scoop full of sand, I reckon the pinpointer would help you out a bit there. Could be a better signal, but it'd probably, it'd do alright. Bit of chain link. I think that's stainless steel with stuff growing on it. No worries with that. Alright, so I reckon this pinpointer for something that I wasn't expecting much from, it was only 20 bucks. I'm pretty impressed. You actually use this in the field. It's not waterproof or anything, but hey, I could probably crack the enclosure open and lodge something up there if I really wanted to. I'd say go for it if you're thinking about buying one of these. It's not going to be up there with the Garretts and the Mine Labs and the White's detect pinpointers, which are all pretty decent. But hey, those things cost between 8 and 10 times as much as this, and they're not 8 or 10 times better. They are better, but not by that sort of a margin. So, value of money for price and price versus performance ratio, it's pretty damn good. Go out and get one if you're looking for a cheap pinpointer that does the sort of stuff that you've seen in this video. Thanks for watching.